Over 2,000 years ago, the Greek philosopher Democritus established a baseline for evaluating human worth, advising leaders to practice prudent trust, to rely only on those of proven value. Yet in modern corporate environments, executives routinely miscalculate this interpersonal dynamic when attempting sweeping operational changes. The problem lies in a specific assumption. If a leader possesses objective integrity and the business strategy is mathematically sound, a top-down organizational transformation is guaranteed to succeed. But even with a positive vision, implementation often fractures. When followers actively resist the initiative, the structural integrity of the plan collapses under invisible pressure. Building trust within a workforce requires the same level of rigorous engineering as the strategic initiatives themselves, relying on specific, interdependent mechanisms. This engineered trust acts as a structural load-bearing wall. When it is present, it provides the internal stability an organization needs to begin the process of becoming change-capable. Organizational trust relies on three variables. First, leader trustworthiness, defined by integrity, benevolence, and reliability. Second, situational factors, the inherent risks within the environment. Finally, the employee's propensity to trust those in authority. These three nodes lock together to form a unified system. The physical distance between employees and leadership artificially inflates the situational risk node. Operational realities like outsourcing, flex time, and virtual environments make trust more critical but highly fragile. These elements do not exist in isolation. They interact continuously to either build or tear down organizational stability. An organizational development intervention has to address all three nodes simultaneously. A highly trustworthy leader cannot execute a strategic shift if they are trying to lead a workforce whose collective propensity to trust has eroded completely. Employees do not evaluate change initiatives from a blank slate. We have to examine their collective propensity to trust. This disposition is shaped by baseline personality traits, individual risk tolerance, and cultural norms regarding self-reliance versus collectivism. The primary weight, however, comes from history. Previous organizational failures and bad management condition employees to view any new corporate initiative as a threat to their well-being rather than an opportunity for growth. This feedback loop visualizes transference, the emotional glue binding followers to a leader. With positive transference, trust flows between the nodes, resulting in high motivation. When history dictates distrust, we see negative transference. The follower node shrinks as employees actively resist change. Navigating this friction requires significant emotional intelligence, not just from those leading the change, but from those expected to follow. An executive's current sincerity regarding a new initiative is irrelevant if the organization's history has pre-programmed the collective workforce with negative transference. Intervening in a low-trust, high-risk system requires a specialized change agent, the organizational development practitioner. These consultants run into a specific paradox. The clients hiring them usually approach the intervention based on flawed consulting paradigms. This animation illustrates three incorrect models: the expert selling an answer, the doctor diagnosing a node, and the mechanic fixing a gear. True OD discards these. The client owns the problem. The OD practitioner is a catalyst bridge, empowering nodes to repair themselves. To do this, the practitioner relies on a capability called marginality. This is the strict ability to straddle organizational boundaries without becoming emotionally consumed by the system's negative transference. The OD practitioner does not dictate top-down strategy. They carefully manipulate the structural levers of trust, establishing an environment where the organization can heal itself. Rebuilding this environment is achieved through rigid, systemic practices, not motivational speeches. The process begins by systematically collecting data to measure mistrust signals across the organization. From there, leaders must abandon top-down business communiques and engage in actual open-book dialogue. In a healthcare renewal, a hospital faced low morale. By breaking down dense departmental silos and fostering transparent communication, they revealed a unified, open network. A vital component of this renewal is actively engineering an environment where constructive dissent from subordinates is not merely tolerated but expected. The organizational architecture itself must then align with these goals. In retail and tech transformations, the data proves it is structurally impossible to foster collaborative partnerships if the reward system only incentivizes individual competition. There is also a hard side to trust. Mediocre personnel who repeatedly destroy organizational trust must be removed. Applying sanctions and firing bad actors is a non-negotiable intervention. However, to prevent further erosion, these policies must be applied with absolute fairness and consistency across all levels of the company. By aligning reward systems, empowering frontline dissent, and purging trust destroyers, the OD practitioner systematically engineers the trusting follower dimension. Aggressively manipulating an organization's trust architecture creates intense role ambiguity and conflict for the change agent. This flowchart maps the model of ethical dilemmas. The left shows antecedents, conflicting roles and goals between the change agent and client. Moving to the center process stage, we see how technical ineptness, data misuse, or value conflicts impact the fragile system. Looking at the final consequences stage, we see that if these ethical missteps occur, the results are severe. They manifest as immediate role conflict and misrepresentation, destroying the transformation effort entirely. An OD practitioner's strict ethical boundaries and technical transparency are the only safeguards preventing the change initiative from doing permanent damage to the client. When these practices are applied ethically, the result is a fully realized, change-capable organization. Even within low-trust societal contexts, a pervasive internal culture of trust can be systematically constructed. This pervasive trust becomes a stabilizing anchor. When strategic shifts hit turbulent business realities, it immediately calms the surrounding waves, securing the operation. A workforce of trusting followers is the direct outcome of rigorous organizational design. This alignment provides the efficiency and responsiveness required to turn strategic plans into sustainable reality.